Jumping, it's homecoming in the SIP. The tailgate is thick, full of smoke from the grill and fired up Tigers fans to cheer on their defending HBCU champions, Jackson State. But Alabama State's not here for the party. We're talking about shirtless Saturday on the road. Hornets coming in to stand on business and crash the celebration and stake their claim in the SWAC. Two budding rivals clash in their biggest game of the season. And the vet, one of the largest venues, the largest venue in FCS football, filled with Jackson State fans as their number 14 Tigers take on Alabama State. 4-1 teams going head-to-head, trying to control the SWAC East after today. And Andrew Body is the engine that helps to fuel the Hornets.
An opportunity to make a statement with this play today. He's played phenomenal this season. You see the numbers, particularly the touchdown passes. But we've seen him be electric. He can dominate football games, but he needs that signature win. If he can get the victory today for the Hornets on the road, he can be a serious contender for the FCS Player of the Year.
And another dynamic quarterback, the preseason Offensive Player of the Year in Jacoby Morgan.
Morgan's a guy that we've loved to watch his emergence as a quarterback. He started his career as a game manager, handing the ball off, but this season, he's the guy that stirs the drink for Jackson State offensively. He's become an offensive weapon rather than an offensive manager.
Well, taking a look at T.C. Taylor out of Magnolia, Mississippi. He is a SIP boy through and through, third season as the head coach of Jackson State. Played here with his alma mater and then won the SWAC Championship and Celebration Bowl a season ago. A couple of head coaches leading the way for their alma maters. Eddie Robinson Jr., now the seasoned coach, most seasoned coach in the SWAC, fourth season at Alabama State, feels that this is the year that they meet the expectations that many had for this Hornet group.
You know, there was a couple years ago where the term "who is SWAC" came up, and both those coaches right there, I will tell you, they are SWAC. A lot of respect between them. Different styles of coaching. TC, hands-on gritty. Eddie Robinson Jr., more of the manager of the program, but both doing fantastic jobs at their alma maters.
As Alabama State won the toss, they deferred, so Jackson State will get the ball first as a touchback and a first opportunity to see this undefeated Tiger offense who comes in roaring hot. We're led by Jacoby Morgan. We're talking about just how good he is as a quarterback, but this offense overall is so dangerous for Jackson State, and they're sporting their special edition homecoming unis as an ode to or a nod to the sonic boom of the South. Jacoby Morgan, who has been hot the last 2 weeks back-to-back SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, 300-plus yards in each of those performances. And the graduate student out of Canton, Mississippi, gets things going as Travis Terrell in motion. And the flea flicker, Morgan going for it all the way. He's got Jamil Gardner, and a penalty marker comes out in the process as Johnson was on the coverage.
Wow, what about trying to loosen up the defense? You know that Alabama State wants to try and control things early.
Pass interference. Number 6. The previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Jackson State comes out with a little razzle-dazzle, fakes the stalk block on the safety, and just turns on the Jets. Jamil Gardner, the fastest wide receiver core. Obvious pass interference call. Big play for Jackson State to get things going.
So now that sets them up at their own 40-yard line. This team whose top rusher in the SWAC, and Jacoby Morgan straight ahead. He had 120 yards on 12 carries last week in that win over Alabama A&M in the Gulf Coast Challenge, a gain of 9.
What you see from Jacoby Morgan, that's how he plays. He is a pocket passer, likes to do things from the pocket, but an efficient runner, but really doing a great job with his decision-making this season.
2nd and 1, electing to throw it. Instead, Morgan quickly steps up, slides for the first down, and into Hornet territory.
And that's quarterback play there. Passing situation, drop back. The coaches are going to trust him. He's not going to get sacked. You don't see anything you like, just run it, pick up a couple yards, extend the drive, first down, Jackson State.
This Jackson State team coming in, picking up 268 yards
nice cut
on the ground, and here it is, a nice move there. And Janalen Dupree on the carry, and another first down for Jackson State, who's moving the ball well.
Yeah, you talk about, look at the vision there. One cut, gets upfield in a hurry, takes on the safety. Good job by Jackson State, particularly co-offensive coordinators Rip Kirk and Manny Ramirez.
They decide to run it once more. This time it's Travis Terrell Jr. on first down. Good gain for the running back out of Atlanta, Georgia. Pickup of 7. And here, if you're Alabama State, you know that you're going to get a steady dose of run plays from Jackson State. We talked about how they are not only tops in the SWAC, but second in FCS in terms of rushing yards per game and overall leading the SWAC in total yards. No movement on that left side, no call for Jackson State. The pass complete to Shamar Savage, and Savage inside the red zone, brought down.
That's kind of, you think about it. One thing Alabama State wants to do, they play defense. Eddie Robinson was a defensive player. State trying to prove a point that we're going to take on this tough defense that you have here and make an impressive first drive in their homecoming game.
And another handoff, and a cut there, and a flag coming out late. We're in the midst of the play as right now Jackson State having their way. We'll see what this call is as Preston Clipper, our referee for today. Let's listen in.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 3. Automatic, first down.
That going against the veteran Keon Lewis, the only returning starter on defense from a season ago, an all-conference safety.
What I saw there, Keon Lewis, he plays free safety. Because Jackson State was starting to run the football, they brought the safety down on a run-stopping blitz. So that's letting you know right now early, Jackson State's winning the battle at the line of scrimmage in the trenches, forcing Alabama State to bring down secondary defenders.
Ball placed on the Hornets' 8-yard line. And the Tigers look back to pass. Morgan looking across, and it's Shamar Savage who leaps across the line, and touchdown Jackson State. Shamar Savage, who scored his first 2 touchdowns of the season last week, adds another. And the Tigers strike first. TC Taylor understood the importance of a game like today, and understanding that consistency was going to be important. 6 plays, 75 yards, just over 2:20 taken off the clock. The extra point is good by Gerardo Beza, and Jackson State with the opening statement here in the SWAC showdown.
And you know why they were able to score this touchdown? I want you to watch this wall right here, and before we move on, take a look at the quarterback, what he's able to do. This is sitting comfortable. You're supposed to be uncomfortable in the pocket when the play's going on, but the protection is stellar, and you're just going to see Morgan realize he doesn't have to go anywhere. This is a clean pocket on the 15-yard line. Great job by the O-line, allowed him to make his read. 1, 2, 3. That's how you draw it up. I mean, look at Morgan. Does he feel any pressure? Senses it, gets rid of it. They space it out good. If you're going to spread out the field like that, you have to have time. But right now, this offensive line from Jackson State is looking very impressive.
And so has Jacobian Morgan, because the guys up front for him have shuffled throughout the season. But Jacobian Morgan, who woke up against Southern a couple of weeks ago, coaches were waiting on that. And after sitting out against Tuskegee, he had a great performance against the Jaguars, and then last week against Alabama A&M. And this is a game of separation between these two squads. Who can stake claim and remain hold of that top spot in the SWAC East? Now on the return, and the Hornets will get solid field position just around the 30-yard line. And a first look to see the top scoring offense in the SWAC. Well, I'll tell you, the Hornets have been buzzing around, coming in on a 4-game winning streak. And Andrew Body, he is one of the top passers in all of FCS in multiple categories. 70%
passer on the year. That's very impressive. As a quarterback, your job is to deliver the ball accurately. But look at that bottom stat. He averages 7.3 yards running the football every time he calls his own number. A true dual threat quarterback. But with Body, it's the legs first, and then the pass is second.
Well, he's the top rusher and passer in the conference coming into this weekend. From their own 31-yard line. It's Body, steps up in the pocket, just gets it away. That one bounced on the ground. It's going to be incomplete. Timon Wells was applying that pressure to Body. Now, one of the things that we heard was that he takes care of the football very well for the Hornets.
We got lucky here, saw something as a flash late, tried to complete that pass left-handed, but once again, this Jackson State D-line trying to match the intensity. The Jackson State O-line we saw in the opening drive, able to collapse the pocket.
We see the numbers for Body in last week's win over Bethune-Cookman. 95 yards on the ground. He averaged better than 13 yards per carry. On 2nd and 10, they hand it off. They got a stable of running backs. It's Jamari Holtzclaw who gets the carry up ahead, stopped by Ashton Taylor. Holtzclaw, who was at his coming out party this season against Florida A&M, 22 carries, 135 yards, and now the sophomore picks up 4, and it's 3rd and 6 upcoming for Alabama State.
And this is where Body can be dangerous. The threat of being able to rush for 6 yards to keep the drive alive or pass it.
Timeout taken on the field.
These dishes just aren't getting clean.
The problem isn't your machine. It's likely your...
Jackson State homecoming, and for those of you who watched Bowling Green take down Toledo, we let you in on the first drive of this ball game. Jackson State started it off. Jacobian Morgan, a player to watch, and the offense overall for the Tigers were clicking in the opening possession.
Impressive drive. The offensive line protected their quarterback, opened up holes for the running game. That seems like that's going to be the key for Jackson State. The offensive line getting the job done, pushing around Alabama State defensively.
6 plays, 75 yards for that opening drive for TC Taylor's crew, the defending HBCU national champions, along with Black College Football Hall of Famer Jay Walker on Tiffany Green. It's homecoming season, but an all-important SWAC showdown between Alabama State and Jackson State, currently atop the SWAC East standings, both at 2-0 in the conference.
Straight man-to-man coverage being shown by Jackson State. Find your best matchup if you're Andrew Body, the quarterback for Alabama State.
Well, Jalen Jones has been the guy so far this season, number 0 in white, and giving chase to Body, but Body, because of his legs and athleticism, able to pick up the first down. Shamar Hawkins was giving chase, a gain of 7 for Body.
This is the athleticism. He averages 7.3 yards every time he runs the football. Needed 6 yards, picked up the 6 yards necessary. The athleticism on display. It was a great call by the defensive coordinator, Terenzi Quinn, but Body just outbodied him with his athleticism and picked up the first down.
And for those of you just tuning in, the top scoring offense in the SWAC in Alabama State against the top scoring defense of Jackson State. That's going to be a great matchup indeed. Dylan Creech in motion, and the handoff, and a short gain for the ball carrier, Jamari Holtzclaw. Well, great offensive performances for both teams, coming off of season highs in points, rush yards, along with touchdowns. Bethune-Cookman, the opponent for Alabama State, Alabama A&M, was the target for Jackson State last weekend. So both teams coming in red hot right now on 2nd and 9. The delayed handoff, and Holtzclaw has some room to the left, and Holtzclaw with a good carry, but a couple of penalty markers out in the process of the play.
Probably going to be a hold on Alabama State when he bounced it to the outside. Seemed like the left tackle, Cameron Smith, might have been engaged.
The foul. Remain 2nd down.
So Eddie Robinson, the Alabama State alum, went on to play in the NFL, and then his first head coaching job with his alma mater in his 4th season. A team that he feels is very complete. Defense has always been a hallmark, as you mentioned, Jay, a great linebacker both at Alabama State and with the Houston Oilers, and now his Hornets have consistently been one of the top defenses, but he's got the offense that's added this year, powered by Andrew Body. On 2nd and 19, empty backfield. Body steps up and slung down. Great defense there. Wells was there along with John Brown Jr., or excuse me, Quincy Ivory, who has been the defensive MVP for the Tigers so far this season on defense.
It looks like Body makes up his mind to try and leave too early when he's just got guys spying him. Tymon Wells was sitting there, number 50, waiting for him to leave. That's good defense. That's how you have to play for Jackson State. You have to contain Body. When he thinks he has something, you have to take it away from him quickly.
And the JSU fans in full effect. 3rd and 17 here, Jay.
Risky call here. They're putting their quarterbacks in their slots on an island right now on 3rd and long, putting a lot of pressure on your defensive secondary.
Body feeling pressure again. Going to that right side, stays in bounds, and then steps out at about the 43-yard line. Wells once more being noisy up front as the Tigers' interior lineman, that forces the punting unit to come on, and fans certainly like the effort from their defense. So Travis Terrell, a very dangerous returner, the sophomore who woke up last week at a 74-yard return in that Gulf Coast Challenge. Let's see if they kick it to him here. Abu Akel keeps it away and out of bounds. And we will take a break here as the mighty Marching Hornets made their way from Montgomery, Alabama, 4 hours away to try to spoil this homecoming for Jackson State. America's Jackson State's homecoming. They have a 7-0 advantage over Alabama State as we welcome you in, the Black College Football Hall of Famer Jay Walker. I'm Tiffany Green, and coming in, this is the game of the season. So many people have talked about it, but how do you take the magnitude of this game and make sure you channel that energy inside the lines?
Well, there's a lot going on, but the championship's going to be won inside the lines, so you prepare yourself as if it's such. If you're Alabama State coming here, you want the crowd to be quiet as much of this game as possible. And if you're Jackson State, you want to play off the homecoming energy, which should give you that 12th man advantage out there to continue on your purpose of showing why you're the #1 ranked team in HBCU football.
Well, Jacoby and Morgan with that pass completion to Jency Riley, and you think about just the series history, 53rd meeting all time. Jackson State has led overall in this series, but Alabama State can notch the fact that they have won 7 out of 11 games here in their last trips to Jackson, so that bodes well for the Hornets.
I mean, that's one of the keys, you know. Jackson State, longtime rival to Alcorn State, but the new hottest, most intense rivalry is Jackson State versus Alabama State. I mean, these two schools are kind of showing they don't like each other. The fan bases don't like each other. They respect each other, but there's real tension in the air when these two teams take on in recent times. There's
a lot of context that we can provide to that throughout the broadcast as Denario Davenport on the carry. 1 yard on the play. So when you're coming into a game like today with two of the top teams in the SWAC East and the SWAC overall, impact players are going to play, obviously, a critical part.
Yeah, you need Jalen Jones, a wide receiver. He has to help out Andrew Body, his dual-threat quarterback. And DeAndre Morris has to be that guy to come down with the run stuff they need. Travis Terrell is one of the best dynamic players you'll see. They have to find creative ways to get him the football involved in the game.
Well, just miscommunication there from Morgan to his receiver, Shamar Savage, as those impact players were brought to you today by Freestyle Libre.
You know, and we talk about what do you have to have a real big-time game. This has everything. It's homecoming, so that means a little bit more. The crowd is here. The two teams are some of the top-ranked teams out there, and you've got star power. We've got some star power, some names that people need to know about. When you talk about Travis Terrell, you talk about Quincy Ivory, you talk about Ashton Taylors. I mean, these guys have been winners for a while with so much ride in this football game.
Here on 3rd and 9, and Morgan trying to escape the pressure, stays on his feet, picks up the first down, and wisely slides there at the end of the play. He's going to be marked down at the 44-yard line. So you said he's an efficient runner as well, Jay. Here's a great example.
Yeah, that's example. 6'4", 230-pound quarterback. You're not going to bring him down with the arm tackle. Knows he's got enough green in front of him to pick up the first down. Good vision down the field.
Well, Jacobian Morgan, who began his career at Syracuse before making his way to Jackson State and leading the way for the Tigers as the carry up ahead. Hornets player's helmet came off. I believe that's Denzel Johnson, the Will linebacker, so he will have to go to the sideline for a play here on 2nd down.
You know what this reminds me of, Jacobian Morgan? And I'm going to take you way back. Let's go back to 1993. There was this quarterback out of Mississippi by the name of Steve Air McNair. Everybody loved Air McNair. And then there was this quarterback out of Washington, D.C. named Jay Walker. And people say that Howard might have the better team, but McNair was a better quarterback. Well, I feel like Jacobian Morgan. Body's got all the accolades. Everybody's saying Andrew Body's best quarterback. But Morgan's like, no. I'm looking for this showcase, and we're going to see. And if he gets the W, then that'll put all that shame. That'll put all that, like, who's a better quarterback? Hey, if you get the win, you're the better quarterback.
Well, in 1993, didn't you win
Yes.
an HBCU national championship?
Yes.
Okay, and Steve Air McNair, rest his soul, finished 4th in the Heisman voting. So we've got kind of a dynamic
star power.
A dynamic QB battle here as well, but also great rushing attacks here from both the teams. Top 2 in the conference. You saw Janalen Dupree on that carry, so they're using the wide receiver in multiple ways. And on 3rd and 4, they just try to power it ahead with Ahmad Miller. He's going to be right there close to the marker. Miles Richardson, did he make the tackle to stop him? No, they're going to say it's good enough to move the chains for a first down.
Just short. That's a good matchup there. You talk about Miles Richardson, the best defensive lineman for Alabama State. Can be disruptive. 18 tackles on the season already. Going against Ahmad Miller, who's a power runner, do-it-all running back for Jackson State.
Well, he's really come into his own this season. As Miller is trying to block it. Morgan, again, just a lot of room, and this time, and that's targeting right there. Now, Jacobian Morgan had some indecision. It looked like he thought about sliding, but stayed up a little bit, and T.C. Taylor is going to talk to his quarterback, make sure he's all good.
Personal foul, late hit on the deep. A penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
This is borderline cheap shot. The quarterback, Morgan, is clearly giving himself up. And you're going to see 2 white jerseys come up as he's sliding down. They're going to end up calling number 4. Love it. That could be a...
That last foul was on number 4 on the defense.
Targeting as well. I mean, very fortunate. That was a blow to the helmet.
Yeah. And so the indicators they look for, you know, giving himself up, so that defenseless player, but they didn't call it. Twilly Lovett whistled for the personal foul. And 1st and 10 for Jackson State. And Travis Terrell bouncing to the outside, but a penalty marker comes out and will negate this run. But that's just a glimpse of the excitability that Travis Terrell has.
Number 81, 10-yard penalty. Down.
And that was Jinsey Riley, the tight end on the outside. It was trying to spring that block for him.
Yeah, and I want you to take a look right here. Sealing the edge, trying to seal the edge there. Just gets caught after Terrell makes the bounce to the outside. He's in good position there. But the pull down, it really didn't. It was a hold, but it would not have made an impact on the play. A little bit of a mental error for the Jackson State tight end.
Well, 10th play of this drive, just the first penalty for Jackson State, who is the most penalized team in the conference. As that one batted down, great play by Miles Richardson. You talked about the great disruptor he is up front, and they said when we talked to Billy Gresham, the defensive coordinator, he needed to dominate. He needed to step up in this game.
He needs to win his matchups, and we've seen him once try to make a tackle for a loss on the line of scrimmage, and there the bat down. The local kid from right there in Montgomery, Alabama, he knows what this game is all about.
Now 2nd and 20 for the Tigers, and the handoff goes nowhere for Travis Terrell Jr. It's going to be 3rd and long. Johnny Mason there quickly to greet Terrell.
That'll be the opportunity to see how aggressive do you become as a defensive coordinator. Right now, Jackson State out of field goal range. Do you bring pressure, or do you sit back and play soft zone and hope that your secondary can come up and make a tackle immediately? Dropping zone.
Morgan with plenty of time, serving. He tries to go to his man outside, Nate Rimbert. And it's going to be 4th down. It was Zaquan Patterson who was on the coverage. And here, 4th and 18, and T.C. Taylor sending out the punting unit.
They're setting up field goal.
Oh, the field goal. So they're going to try for it. Gerardo Beza, who has a long this season
operator,
of 46
please reset
yards.
the game clock to 1 minute and 50.
Wasn't this the question mark?
1-5-5.
When we talked to T.C. Taylor,
absolutely,
the kicking game was a big question mark. Surprised to see him go for it in this situation.
155.
While they've had field goal kicking woes this season, you see just
Does it have enough leg? Yes, but it's wide right, and it's in.
Wide right. Wide right.
So not able to net any points, and the Hornets defense was able to hold. They'll get the ball back when we return. Back here, and it's a 7-0 advantage for the 14th ranked Jackson State Tigers. The Hornets made their way from Montgomery, Alabama, and they swarm as one. Eddie Robinson Jr. knows all about that. His school was founded in 1867 in the capital city of Alabama. Better than 3,600 students led by Dr. Quentin T. Ross, and a number of notable alumni. Ralph David Abernathy, the activist and minister within the civil rights movement. Comedian Ricky Smiley. 2 Chainz.
I'll just say, can I add one?
Okay.
Saheed, 2 Chainz. That's the one that was missing from there. Then Tavares Jackson, one of the all-time greats in the SWAC, played quarterback and led Alabama State to a SWAC championship.
And the pass complete, first completion quickly out to Jalen Jones, the redshirt freshman out of Birmingham, and Andrew Body, who we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the leading rusher and passer in the SWAC, but just the second offensive possession for the Hornets. Can they make better than the 6 plays, 12-yard drive they had last time?
And good time to go a little tempo right now, I think, if you're Alabama State. Offensive coordinator Chris Barnett, you want body to get going. So we're starting to see him get a couple throws, picked up a first down. I continue to go with the tempo to keep this momentum going before the quarter ends.
They award him the first down. Just a reminder, the play clock is being kept on the field with some technical issues with the play clock inside the stadium.
See, with this look right here, this opens it up to the passing game. The 2-by-2 formations, you've got the wide receiver stacked. You should be able to throw the ball all day, but we know Alabama State truly wants to run it.
Body with plenty of time across the middle of the field. The pass is complete. And into Tiger territory as Ajay Harrell with the catch and run.
Yeah, from the slot. But that formation there, that basically tells you just have one guy to beat. And there's chunks of yardage that can be made after the completion. Great recognition by body of the coverage and great schematic scheme by Chris Barnett to help make the read easier. It's just a number count. If I've got 2 guys out there and you've got 2 guys out there, you're 2 going to guard my 2. Sounds like by division, that's 1-on-1, isn't it? 2 by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, right?
That's that great Howard math there, partner. A 36-yard pickup will end the first quarter as Alabama State trying to work their way back into this one and spoil the homecoming for JSU. SWAC Showdown, second quarter action coming your way when we return. Well, what can your offense do to get running?
Well, we're in the red zone. We just have to settle down. Body just has to take what he's going to give him, and if he's going to run, just run decisively.
All right, defensively, are there any adjustments that you need to make?
Now we just have to tackle. Morgan is the tough kid. He's hard to get down. When we got pressure on him, we just couldn't get him down, so we have to realize he's a physical guy. You got to go low on him.
All right, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And now a red zone opportunity for the Hornets, as you heard Coach Robinson Jr. mention. The handoff to Marcus Harris, the second. And he picks up a couple of yards, tackled by Ashton Taylor. But think about this. Again, we talked about the top scoring offense in the SWAC against the top scoring defense in the conference as well. And Jackson State won that battle through the first 15 minutes.
Absolutely. In Jackson State, what they're doing, they're committed to not allowing Alabama State to run the football. So they're never caught with few guys in the box within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So as they break the huddle now, you'll see 6 guys there to stop the run, and they're willing to give up some passing yards.
They're going to make Body beat them, but they're also swarming around Body as a number of blue jerseys there, and among them, Jeremiah Williams, the big interior lineman out of Lexington, Mississippi.
And Jeremiah Williams is probably the most experienced defensive lineman for Jackson State. Been around the block a few times, playing great football from that interior defensive lineman position.
They felt like he could take advantage of the fact that Alabama State likes to run the ball. There was a good example as that pass play broke down. Now 3rd and 9 for Alabama State. 2 for 3 so far on 3rd down conversions for the Hornets.
Attack the seam. You can get somebody open if you run up the hash mark.
And again, pressure. Jeremiah Williams couldn't bring him down. Body stays on his feet, and the pass nearly intercepted. Well, just making Andrew Body uncomfortable in every part of the field, and the Jackson State Tiger defense doing a great job.
I talked about earlier, the seam was open. This is a soft spot of the defense. Watch and see the receiver is going to come through, get a clean release, and attack the middle. This is open right there. He was open. He outran it. Body didn't see it. You have to attack the defense when you're trying to establish the passing attack.
The 36-yard attempt from Andrew Abuakel, And it is up and through. So the Hornets able to net 3 points out of that one and get on the board here from Jackson. Ooh. Meanwhile, TC Taylor coming out of that timeout, electing to kick the field goal here from 36 yards out, or correction, 29 yards out. Donovan Warren, who's 2 for 2 this season, he is going to get a crack at it here. The kick is up, and it is through. So extending the lead now out to a touchdown as TC Taylor wisely takes those points.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, 7-3 game. You know what you say, hey, get it back to a touchdown. Keep extending the lead every chance you can to extend the lead. Do it. Don't play around with fire. So I think that's the right decision by TC Taylor.
Eddie Robinson Jr. wants to see his top scoring offense get going, but you talked about who SWAC, right? Both of these coaches came up through the SWAC. They played their college ball here. Now they are leading their programs as well. 12 straight wins against SWAC opponents for TC Taylor and his Tigers. But coming in, Eddie Robinson Jr. just talked about the amount of respect, and both of these coaches, shared how they feel that, both of these, or each individual on the sideline are doing a great job leading their programs, and the way that they built the programs poured into these young men and helped them to be successful. Last year, Jackson State perfect in the conference, won their 3rd SWAC championship in 4 seasons, and won their first ever Cricket Celebration Bowl. Nehemiah Hickson on the return for the Hornets. He spins off a tackler, keeps on going, and a flag flies out in the process of that return. So that 36-yard return hangs in the balance, likely going to come back against Alabama State, as we hear from Preston Clipper.
Number 90.
While we have time, let's take a look at the HBCU power rankings. And Jay, within your purview, what do you see?
Howard's got a pretty good football team. Conference play in the MEAC has not started yet, so I've got Howard at number 5. North Carolina Central emerging fast. That's a team that you got to watch out for. They've got some star power. They're having a good year. South Carolina State, the reigning champions of the MEAC, so not going to disrespect them, but they're kind of all over the place a little bit now. They're on watch. You see it right now. Alabama State, to me, has emerged as the number 2 team in all of HBCU football. And number 1, Jackson State, getting the job done. Look at the teams on the bubble. Prairie View A&M and Delaware State. Did not think I would be talking about Delaware State on the bubble.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson has done a great job with that group out of Dover. Meanwhile, Prairie View A&M, along with Jackson State and Alabama State, the 3 undefeated teams remaining in conference play. As the Hornets offense gets going, quickly out to Jalen Jones. And Jones, who is a guy who is explosive, he's fast, he's been a playmaker for Alabama State. Gain of 5 for the redshirt freshman out of Birmingham.
So, we talk about what's at stake. The most important thing at stake, whoever wins this game will be my number 1 team in HBCU football. I don't miss too often.
Not to be in the driver's seat for the SWAC East.
Oh, you want to be number 1, Jays, give me 5. Everywhere we go to, what do they say? You better talk about us in your 5. Well, if you want to be number 1 in the give me 5, win this football game here today, both teams.
Carl Ligon on the carry. And Ligon, who's coming off SWAC Newcomer of the Week honors for his performance against Bethune-Cookman, had 59 yards but a couple of touchdown runs. And quickly moving here as you got to get to the 20-yard line for first down. 50% so far on 3rd down. The nice cutback.
Good individual effort.
And the ball carrier, Ligon, picks up the first down brought down by Jeremiah Williams. And just a reminder to our viewers, you control your own destiny. And over the last couple of years, you understand that the champions out of the SWAC East have been undefeated in conference play. Jackson State a season ago, 23 it was Florida A&M, and 21 and 22 it was Jackson State as well. So important to remain unblemished because it's hard to come back if you get a loss. Ligon once more up the middle and tripped up. And as we look back over the last 7 champions out of the conference, I mean, it's been dominated by the East, right? Alcorn State and winning back-to-back years before they moved over to the West, and then Alabama A&M in that COVID-shortened season. And then Jackson State has really reigned dominant over the last 4 seasons. Body, 4 of 6 today, 50 yards. Drops back.
Got him. Oh, he missed him.
He had his man, takes a little time, and the ball is deflected. Good play on the outside by KJ Chisholm. Chisholm, one of the 2 sophomore starting cornerbacks for the Tigers.
Tiff, just tell me, how open is he on the double move? This is what you want right here. A great job setting up the double move, slant go, safety falls down. All you have to do is see it, recognize it. He went the wrong place with the ball. I so often say, if they have trip wide receiver set to the right, if you go backside, you have to complete that pass 98% of the time. Body went backside. There was nobody there for the incompletion.
You saw man in motion, and Body, who was brought down to the ground, big number 95, Kazarius Bowie, with a big stop.
Well, they try to move the pocket semi, but a really good job of making Body stay in the pocket by number 19, Frankie Dunn. He had outside contained, forced Body to cut up inside where he had a headache waiting for him. Jackson State defense doing a really good job containing an explosive player in Andrew Body, quarterback for Alabama State.
And isn't that what you hope to do? Because you can't completely stop him, but if you can contain him, then you feel like you can walk away like we did our job.
Yeah, and that's what they want to do. If he makes the passes to beat him, they'll live with that. Roughing the kicker. This will be coming back, and I think this should be the variety. This should be the type where it's a personal foul because they absolutely tattooed the punter.
And when we've talked with TC Taylor, you know, he's made mention of special teams has to be special. Win the kicking game.
Roughing the kicker. 15-yard penalty.
And indeed, so we saw the 51-yard missed field goal attempt, and now the personal foul that extends the possession as Jinsey Riley, who runs into the punter,
and pushed him down. After he was going by him, gave him the push. Then, you know, TC can argue that one there, but when that punter has kicked the ball, that was more the taking a cheap shot on the punter type of play there. And Alabama State's going to get to hold the football. Poor play by the special teams of Jackson State.
So, Jay, your offensive coordinator, Chris Barnett, you know, one of the things he mentioned to us was he's got to balance keeping the running backs and the wide receivers fed because they are so talented. But how can they illuminate their talent within these drives? How can they get the ball to their playmakers?
Because they're being a little hard-headed. Because they want to be balanced, they're sacrificing and running the ball. But in this case, I'm going to throw the ball. They're saying, we'll give you one-on-one coverage and stop trying to force feed the run.
Well, they run it to the outside. They said they could have some success on the perimeter, but a great play made on the perimeter, specifically by Shamar Hawkins on the tackle.
I mean, they're trying to give him an exotic formation. This is like a sweep left with the lead blocker, but look at the 2 jerseys, 3 blue jerseys there to bring down the ball carrier. You know, so often you want to balance it out, but you have to play football. And what's the game saying? I want to go empty backfield, maybe just one running back in the backfield, 3 wide receiver set, and tell Andrew Body, make some throws. And if you don't make the throws, then you take off running.
Well, they remain committed to the run. Now, I'm going to say this, Jay. Over the last couple of games against the Florida schools, Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, they've rushed for just about 300 or more yards over the last couple of games, coming off a season-high 388 yards on the ground. So they've been committed to that.
I got you, but let me go hit my Richard Pryor on. You want me to believe you or my lying eyes? My eyes are not lying to me. The line of scrimmage is being controlled by Jackson State. Can't run the football when you're not winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. So, they want to do the balance, but you have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. We've seen Alabama State just get stonewalled trying to run the football.
Well, the Tigers spend a timeout, and we will step aside here as well with 3rd and 8 coming up. We call it the City with Soul, as we take a look at the SWAC standings and an all-important game here today in the East Division between Alabama State and Jackson State, currently at 2-0 in the conference. They control their own destiny. On the west side, it's Prairie View A&M under first-year head coach Tremaine Jackson, who is impressive with the Panthers so far.
Kind of similar to why this game is so important. You see Texas Southern's in second place there. They lost to Prairie View early. They're in the trail position behind Prairie View. So that's why this game is so important. You want to control your own destiny and not be in that trail position.
Well, coming out of the timeout, 3rd and 8 here for Alabama State, looking to convert.
You have to throw the ball on the lower part of your field. The right side of your screen is where you're going with the football. They're playing a zone coverage there. Find somebody that can crease the zone. Right there. Missed him on the curl.
Body continues to hold, scrambles, picks up the first down.
He's good, though. He can run. He's going to miss you on the coverage of where he should go with the football. Watch the curl route on the left side of your screen. He's going to flash right there in front of you. He's open right there. Number 6, A.J. Harrell was open, but Body said, I'll call my own number and run. When you talk about this, the curl flat is right there, but he just doesn't see him. He's running around looking, and that's why you become better. You get the most out of your pre-snap read. He made a fantastic play, but that was a much easier throw if he'd have recognized the coverage.
1st and 10, 4 minutes to go in the half. Alabama State trailing by a score. Body with time. Goes for Jai Harrell, who hauls in the catch. What an outstanding grab. That's by Dylan DeJet.
Double move on the man-to-man. Watch this. Give him a little stutter. Give me that. Then turn on the Jets. Perfectly thrown pass by Body. He found the right person to go to with the football and made a spectacular throw and a greater catch. ASU on the move.
1st and goal now, and they run it through, and Marcus Harris II picks up his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. The Jackson, Mississippi native back home here, and he puts his Alabama State Hornets within 1.
You hear how quiet the stadium is right now? If you're Alabama State, you want that. You don't want that band playing. You want the crowd to just be in shock. What did we just see?
And a tie ball game, 11 plays, 90 yards, 6 minutes plus taken off the clock. But it's Andrew Body who does his thing, connects with Dylan DeJet inside the 5, and then capped off by the short run from Marcus Harris II. We're all tied at 10 in Jackson.
Caleb had the pressure being the number 1 overall pick, and Jalen Daniels ended up being the steal of the first round.
The up man receives it on the return for Jackson State, and they're going to get pretty solid field position as we tell you more about Jackson State University, the I love is what they say around these parts. Founded in 1877, currently with interim president Dr. Denise Jones Gregory, 6,300 plus. Jay, and a very, very, very proud alumni base. 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers, including Walter Payton. How about James Meredith, a civil rights activist and a former baseball guy, as you are, Jay. Oil Can Boyd, Dennis Oil Can Boyd.
I gotta ask you a question after this.
Okay, wait a minute. I should be asking you the question, Jay, after this.
Question after this player, and it's something took me a while to learn this. I'm a big geography guy, right? So what city are we in right now?
Jackson.
Jackson is the what of Mississippi?
Capital.
Oh, okay. So when we talk about the SWAC, and Alabama State's in what city?
Montgomery.
Montgomery is the
capital
of Alabama. When you think about when we were, another team that competes is Southern. Southern's in where?
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge is the
capital.
And there's a school in Tallahassee called FAMU, and Tallahassee is the
capital of Florida.
Wow.
Ah.
Just took me a while
That's
to put
great.
it in. Those are some power.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the time. As Travis Terrell on that left side. And he's going to be stopped a few yards short of the first down marker.
Are we missing any other capitals?
Okay, well, now, in the SWAC.
In the SWAC?
No.
Yes. In the MEAC.
In the MEAC, you move to,
I would say,
Howard.
Well, I mean, that's different. We're America's capital. We got the capital United States of America.
City,
I'm thinking North Carolina A&T when they were there in Greensboro. Greensboro, capital, North Carolina? No?
No. 2 minutes.
Oh, I need help there. I need help.
2 minute time. I'll take it on the field as Jackson State will try to get this third down when we come back. Corralling in the end zone and looking forward to that halftime performance as we take a look at the SWAC scoreboard. Alabama A&M and Mississippi Valley State, a 1-point game between the two in Huntsville. About North Carolina Central traveling to Tallahassee, so far shutting out the Rattlers. Bethune-Cookman in action as well, and obviously a number of homecoming dates today as Travis Terrell on the outside with a strong carry and a late hit there after.
Curious about that one. I think the crowd might have helped get that penalty called there. It was a close play on the sideline, whether it was a late hit or not, over by Trey Phillips.
Not able to hear.
So let's take a look here.
Another look here. So he's out of bounds.
At the helmet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job, ref.
So a 12-yard run by Terrell Jr. now turns into a 27-yard play after the penalty against Alabama State.
And when you see the replay, slow things down, it makes it look a little bit more graphic. But what was Trey Phillips thinking about? I mean, not only was it a late hit, but a shot to the head. They say to the dome. Can't do that. That is a huge penalty there to give better field position to Jackson State.
Sets a 1st and 10 from the Hornets 30-yard line. Has his man Jalen Dupree in the end zone and capitalizing with a touchdown. Stand up, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Jalen Dupree's own for Jackson State catches the score and puts the Tigers back on top.
You say Philadelphia, Mississippi, I think of Marcus Dupree, and Jalen Dupree is the grandson of the Mississippi legend, the Marcus Dupree. Big play here for homecoming.
And that's starting to fire up those J-State fans, the pom-poms going in the stadium. You see the debris flying across the field. The extra point is good. Well, Jacoby and Morgan doing his thing. Last 2 completions for 62 yards. And we talked about how hot he's been the last couple of weeks. And there's just a perfect connection with Dupree.
And a really good job by the running back in the backfield to abandon the play-action fake, sell out for the protection. And we've seen Morgan make some great throws from the pocket. Nice read and recognition, knowing where to go with the football. He knew there was pressure, but it was picked up and found his wide receiver in the end zone.
JSU fans leading FCS in attendance. They are here in full force for this homecoming weekend. One of 13 homecomings across HBCU football. That drive didn't take long, aided by that 15-yard personal foul penalty, and that was the same story in that first drive for Jackson State. They took advantage of 4 penalties from Alabama State to help them along to score on that opening possession.
In these type of football games, you cannot do that. So every time we've seen Jackson State score a touchdown, there's been a penalty on the Alabama State defense during that drive. So they've got to eliminate the penalties. But Jackson State celebrate, but you've got a dangerous person get ready to come on the field. If I'm Andrew Body, I'm welcoming the opportunity to run 2-minute offense before the half.
Jai Harrell, who took a shot, kept on going. And down at about the 28, 29-yard line.
Let me repeat what I always say, Tiff. You've heard me say it before.
All right, here we go.
2-minute offense. If you give me the ball minute and 30 with 2 timeouts, I'm going to get you a field goal. You give me the ball around minute 30 with 3 timeouts, what am I going to get you?
A touchdown.
A touchdown. Let's see what Andrew Body's about.
And right now, you've got to feel good about Body and the Hornets offense, because these are the numbers that they have put up this season. And obviously, Jackson State has made it difficult for them, but if they fall upon the standard that they've set so far through 5 games.
There's been no running game, and that's been the problem. The running game there, so they're going to have to come out and throw it to move the ball down the field.
Andrew Body completes it on the outside.
Oh, what a play.
Still on his feet is Jamari Holtzclaw. So Holtzclaw with a big chunk play there on first down, steps out of bounds into Tiger territory. Another look here out of the backfield.
Anytime as a quarterback, you can throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage and pick up all these extra yards after the catch. Great effort by Holtzclaw helping out his quarterback. Don't look, but Alabama State's already in JSU territory.
From their own, or from the Tigers' 38. Body waiting, dangerous pass. Tried to squeeze it in there as the pass incomplete to Ajay Harrell. B.J. Washington there on the coverage.
This is just soft zone coverage, and you see Body trying to squeeze it in. Little miscommunication between he and the receiver as well. The receiver was gearing down. Body was leading him over. But 2 blue jerseys around there, you have to find someplace else to go with the football. He was fortunate. If I'm Body, drop back, see if your pre-snap read is there. If it's not there, take off and run. Any type of positive yards, 4 or more right now in this situation, will keep that defense on its heels.
We know Andrew Body to be a special quarterback, but he hands it off, and no gain on the play, or very little yardage. Ja'Cory Hargan there on the stop brings up 3rd down. The clock's ticking, under a minute to go. Did you like that call, Jay?
No, because the running just has not been there. How did you get down here with a long pass play? Jackson State is selling out against the run. Very similar like how North Carolina A&T used to play for so many years. We do anything else, we're going to stop the run. That's what Jackson State is doing, committed to stopping the run and doing a good job. This situation with clock running, I think you have to throw the football.
A lot of time ticking off the clock here on 3rd and 8. Quickly out the hands, and what a play made by Ajay Harrell. Harrell, who bounced off a defender, kept on going. You've got to spend a timeout here. 19.8 seconds as we take a look from Harrell in the slot.
Yeah, and a really good job by Harrell of making the defensive back miss. Coming over late was Shamar Hawkins, the nickel back for Jackson State. And Alabama State makes him pay. Body with the big-time completion.
23-yard completion there for Body. Well, coming up at halftime, here's what Kevin Connors and Trevor Maddich will have for you during that halftime. Obviously, they'll discuss Alabama and Missouri. Ohio State staying perfect. And Trevor's trio as well. Another big Saturday afternoon of football across the country. Well, how important is this for Eddie Robinson for his team to not only go into the locker room with points, but you want to try to get a touchdown, and they get the football back to start the half.
And I love how you started that. The first part, points. Can't go walk away with 0 now. You're down there. Points. You have to have touchdown, cherry on top. This is going to be tough because they've established you're not going to be able to run the ball into the end zone, so Body's going to have to make some throws or a run with his legs.
You've got Jet and Harrell to the bottom of your screen. And bottled up inside, and a great play made.
I'm out.
That was a number of blue jerseys coming in. Shamar Hawkins hyped up after it. So 13.4 seconds remaining. Second timeout
30 seconds
spent by the Hornets. And the second sack of the afternoon for this Tiger defense.
And that's on the quarterback. In man on the line of scrimmage. They've got 4 guys that they're bringing strong side to your right. You have to know you have to get rid of the football or shift your protection that way.
Jackson State, who has been stellar all season on defense. A quick look at what they've done here with Body, especially early on in that first quarter.
Yeah, just blue jerseys surrounding the quarterback, surrounding the pocket, not allowing him to escape. So if he makes one guy miss, there are other defensive linemen that are there. So it's really been a great job by the front 4. The defensive line containing with a little bit of help from the nickelback and Shamar Hawkins. We're really impressed with the job that Jeremiah Williams has done, and John Brown, Quincy Ivory. Those guys are dominating the line of scrimmage.
And Tamon Wells he made some plays early on. I mean, there's just this attack mindset defense that Terrenzo Quinn has put together, and you see why they are one of the top defenses in FCS in terms of scoring defense, rushing, trying to stop the Hornets from getting into the end zone before the half. 2nd and 14, pressure coming once again. Body scrambling. And an incomplete pass that's going to bring up 3rd and 14.
They brought the pressure here. You're going to see Ashton Taylor, number 3, right in the middle of your screen. He's going to get a free release and decide he's going to cause some damage. Comes in there, untouched, flushes him out of the pocket. And, sometimes, depending on your protection scheme, but a lot of times that middle linebacker, you have to know he's the 5th guy. He's the quarterback's responsibility. We're yet to see them run like a wide receiver bubble screen. With all the soft zone that they're playing on the outside, you can do one of those little quick hitter screens and possibly do some damage if you get one block.
And the stoppage here is
previous play correction. Play clock, game clock operator, please reset the game to 9 seconds. 9 seconds.
They're pushing a little more time on the clock, so it's going to go up to 9 seconds. And with that 9 seconds, what do you do here? Obviously, you can take a shot for the end zone.
And that's what they haven't done.
Right.
I mean, we've seen them try to do other things. Take that shot in the end zone, disappointing, get the ball on the 12-yard line, and do not take one attempt in the end zone. Find a one-on-one matchup where you can, go for a jump ball situation.
If they're unsuccessful, it will be a 35-yard field goal attempt from where they are right now.
Wow, slot receiver at top of the screen is going to be open. He's got the matchup. That's where you want to go. Jackson State may blow this coverage.
In the end zone, and just out of the reach of the receiver. Harrell couldn't come up with it. It's 4th down.
And, see him just try to rip this throw high. If he's able to get that ball, bring it down a little bit. He was open in the end zone. That's the shot we talked about. They needed to at least attempt to get into the end zone and just miss.
Andrew Abuakel from 35 yards out. The kick is up, and it is through. So that takes us to the close of the first half. And Jackson State, 14th in all of FCS, trots into the locker room with a 17-13 lead. It's homecoming, but it's even higher stakes between these two teams. A SWAC East slugfest from Jackson, and the Tigers hold the balance so far. Bands just finished performing on the field in halftime of this game between Jackson State and Alabama State. What's up, fam? Welcome back in. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green. Okay, you know JSU always rocks the house with the sonic boom of the South, but also Alabama State came through. They said, you want to be starting something?
Oh, that was a good one.
You know,
a lot of people know what's taking place in the Honeybees. To see the fans here at JSU give the Honeybees a standing ovation when they started performing. But JSU, I've never seen, they brought back the alumni drum majors, and them dudes was stepping. They were stepping. They made the halftime for me. What great performance by both schools.
Absolutely. And Jay, what a great performance we've seen in this football game from both teams, and it's much of what we expected, this duel of Titans within the SWAC East, and it was Jacobian Morgan, Jackson State, who came out striking first.
Yeah, impressive first drive, trying to set the tone, but it's really that offensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage, protecting the quarterback, setting up the running lanes, but then Alabama State letting you know, hey, we've been here for homecoming before, we're not going nowhere, answering right back.
Well, Jacobian Morgan with a couple of great completions and the touchdown pass there into the end zone to the Janalen Dupree, and a 17-13 advantage. Breaking down the first half stats, Jay, you said Alabama State wanted to run the football. Jackson State defense said,
They can't do it. That's what Alabama State has to do. 49 yards combined, and that's including Andrew Body, their quarterback, who's been running for his life a little bit. But the key thing Eddie Robinson Jr. has to do for Alabama State, those penalties. They've given up penalties in the middle that have led to Jackson State scoring drives, self-inflicted wounds. They have to get that out of their game here in the second half.
And they've talked about how they were moving in the right direction coming into this game. But Jay, you said this already, how this has become a budding rivalry between the two. You know Alcorn State, you know Southern for Jackson State, but Alabama State has come onto the scene. And I think back to just a few years ago, right? That COVID season when Jackson State and Alabama State met. And it was the win by Alabama State and the troll on the scoreboard afterward of Coach Prime that really started to get the blood boiling and festering up. And then it continued to boil over into the following season, that unfriendly handshake between Coach Prime and Eddie Robinson Jr.
He ain't SWAC. You know, I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC.
And Eddie Robinson Jr. made it clear. He's SWAC. He came up through the SWAC, had questions for Coach Prime, and really the fan bases continue to build off of that. And that's where we find ourselves today, in a big battle for the SWAC East with two teams undefeated in their division.
You know, it's going like an old-fashioned SWAC showdown type of game, showcase type game. They're all going to leave it on the line. They know what's at stake here. Two coaches that are coaching their alma maters. They know what it's going to take, and they're trying to help their teams etch themselves a memorable season.
You go back to the days of W.C. Gordon and Houston Markham, who was on his staff. Markham, who eventually went over to Alabama State and led the Hornets to their first ever national championship back in '91, and it was Eddie Robinson Jr. who was on that team.
I don't think many people would know that Alabama State has won 7 of 11. We talked about it earlier, but 7 of the last 11 contests that Alabama State has won here.
And taking a look at the QB comparison, I mean, we know that these two quarterbacks have been outstanding, really pacing the way within the conference and across HBCU football and FCS. And Jacobian Morgan has a couple of touchdowns in his pocket, a higher completion percentage and yards for Andrew Body, and we'll get a chance to see Body out of the locker room, who walked away with scoring drives on the last 3 Alabama State possessions. For Body, what does he need to do, and how does this offense need to adjust based on what you saw from the Tigers defense?
They've got to trust him. I mean, he's made some great throws. He's had a couple of misreads, but he still has not made the impact on this game that he needs to for Alabama State to have a chance.
Well, keeping it in his own hands, calling his own number, and picking up the first down. You know, you mentioned, Jay, just the yards per carry in that first half for Alabama State, just over 2 yards per carry, but that's a good sign to start this third quarter for the Hornets.
Good job. They know they have to get him going, and he's the focal point of the offense. So whether it's the quick pass, whether it's the RPO, calling his own number, but Andrew Body has to do better than just 147 yards total offense. That's not him. They rely too much upon him.
When it comes to pass efficiency and passing touchdowns, number 3 in all of FCS. And he has just looked so good, averaged 200 yards and 100+ yards on the ground.
And they are trying, you see all the shifting and movement from Alabama State. They're trying to find that exotic formation that's going to give Jackson State trouble. They have yet to identify that.
Play action for Body. Pressure. Escapes. Still on his feet on the left side of the field. And that boundary area, once again, Andrew Body does Andrew Body things.
If nobody's open, you're not reading the covers correctly, you better be able to do this. Runs out of 1, 2 tackles, then gets the perimeter. How do you defend that? Tough to defend. Drives defensive coordinators crazy.
17-yard run puts them in Tiger territory. They hand it off again. Still committed to the run here, but already better signs of that rushing attack for the Hornets to open this third quarter.
And I think, you know, Andrew Body, when he's passing well, he attacks the middle of the field really well, in between the hash marks, attacks the seams. The outside perimeter throw, I don't think that's his strength right now. He can do it, but if stuff's in the middle of the field that he can see it, he can pick you apart.
And nice juke move there from Andrew Body once again. And Body picks up another first down on that run, gain of 10.
Yeah, he's thinking he could have had a little bit more. Watch this move right here with that cut to juke him. He tried to make that cut off that inside leg against that safety. 4 yards there to be had, but another fantastic run by Andrew Body.
And moving with some tempo here on this opening possession of the second half. Body rolling to his right, has a man. Pass is complete to Jalen Jones along the sideline. And Jalen Jones steps out inside the 5-yard line. Going to be down at the 2 after that 33-yard catch and run.
Good job. Electing not to run the football, probably would have run, but he saw Jones on the second level, and Jones goes out of bounds around that 3-yard line.
And lost it up in the end zone.
Oh,
the catch is made, but out of bounds. What an outstanding effort we saw from Ajay Harrell right there.
We've seen Harrell make some plays in this game with a nice catch radius. But watch this ball as it's tipped, and he goes to the ground, and
he brought it in, but where he landed his body was out of bounds. So it's going to bring up 2nd and goal. Right up ahead, Jamari Holtzclaw lunges into the end zone and the touchdown. Well, that did not take much time. Just under 3 minutes off the clock, and the opening drive of the third quarter results in a touchdown for Alabama State. The Hornets grab the lead right back from Jackson State.
Impressively marched right down the field. And as you mentioned, Andrew Body got it going. Running the football, he became their offense.
Well, 10 straight points put up by Alabama State going back to that first half, and a 3-point lead on the road for the Hornets, who come in buzzing winners of 4 straight. They're trying to extend that as they have the lead over the Tigers. A chance to just learn about the ordinary men and women who refused to sit silently while their brothers and sisters were being denied their basic freedoms, learning about Fannie Lou Hamer, Medgar Evers, and all those who helped to fight for their freedoms and opportunities here that so many of us now enjoy. And I love that about Eddie Robinson Jr. and really a number of the coaches who take the time to make it a cultural exploration, not only just a football game weekend ahead of what has been a prize fight here in Jackson, Mississippi between two of the top contenders. As we now set way for Jay's Give Me 5.
To the people what they want, how about the 5 biggest storylines we got going on right now? Number 5, Tiffany FAMU. You got anything you want to say?
It's
what
a down
is
year.
going on? That's all I'm going to say.
It's a down year.
Who is South Carolina State? They were the team that made it to the Cricket Celebration Bowl a season ago. Up and down this year, they got to get it together. The SWAC is still the wild, wild west. Up for grabs. Who's going to win it? Who wants to win it? Number 2, I think Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson has opened the eyes of so many in terms of his coaching acumen and the job he's done.
And the handoff straight ahead to Ahmad Miller. Miller, who has been relatively quiet in this game, but you go back to Deshaun Jackson and just how impressive he has been since taking over the Hornets. And look, they're putting up points, Jay.
Hey, my homeboy from the West Coast, the West Side, went all the way to Delaware. Folks didn't know if he knew what he was getting into, but they put up 70 today. 70 points today in another victory.
It was their homecoming.
And Delaware State struggled. Nobody was really eager for that job there, but he's put them on the map.
And then we're looking at the defending HBCU national champions in Jackson State. Has the handoff to Ahmad Miller, and good play behind the line of scrimmage. That's the true freshman Jalen Jarrett.
And that's why I said through it all, if they give me 5, the number 1 story is still Jackson State. This is Jackson State. They're the number 1 HBCU football team. They're defending national champions, having a fantastic season thus far, but they find themselves in a scrap. Use the old school word. They're scrapping down there right now.
And what a run ahead by Ahmad Miller. Cameron Gordon, who's back onto the field, makes the tackle.
And if you're going to be in a scrap, which one of the running backs would you like to have from Jackson State?
Oh, Ahmad Miller.
You want
Hands
Ahmad
down.
Miller?
Hands down. And that's no disrespect to any other, but Ahmad Miller is made differently. The brother of the former SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, Aubrey Miller, who was an outstanding linebacker here for the Tigers. And quickly out of the backfield, Denario Davenport. And Davenport, who has also been impressive in the backfield as a couple of Hornets players collide there on the tackle. And
this is what's good. When the ball's caught, look at all 3 wide receivers engaging. That's perfect execution on a wide receiver bubble screen. At the time of the catch, they knew when to block to spring to the outside.
Well, Cameron Gordon is one of those players who's down. He was shaken up earlier in this game. Wears that number 9 for the Marion 9, the 9 enslaved people who started the school, and that's a very special number at Alabama State. Another Hornet teammate is down as well, so we'll tell you more when we come back. Couple of Hornets defenders shaken up on that last play. Good to see both of them walking off the field under their own power, but 2 playmakers up front for sure for Eddie Robinson Jr. So and I hope that they can make it back onto the field in quick order.
And how about the maturity for this Jackson State coaching staff? One of the youngest coaching staffs out there, right? And Alabama State wants this to be a shootout. But Jackson State sticking to the game plan. We're going to make it slow, methodical. We're winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. We'll run the ball on first down, wear you down, not making this a shootout, but rather testing their will and controlling the line of scrimmage.
And right now it's Jacoby and Morgan who's busting through that line of scrimmage inside the 10. And he's tackled and taken out of bounds. Jacoby and Morgan, again, you use the term effective runner, and he continues to just make the right decisions at the right time.
Sets up his blockers, and you're going to see number 1, Shamar Savage, come in on your left side. Wide receivers blocking 15 yards down the field. Effective running play, good vision, way to secure the football. Jackson State continuing to control the line of scrimmage with the running game.
And Morgan, after that tackle from Jaleel Lenore, the helmet comes off, so he's got to step out for one play. And Parker Stofa in, who hands it off to Davenport, up ahead, up the middle, trying to drive that Powell. And Morgan trots back onto the field. Remember, this was the Celebration Bowl offensive MVP. Continued just to mature. He's been able to have success in the pocket when he needs to take off and run. He's done that as well. 7 of 11 so far through the air, 105 yards and a pair of TDs.
Knew he could throw the ball, but averaging 10 yards per rush is the unexpected.
And the little dump in, and the touchdown to Jinsey Riley. Well, the tight end came back and got that one, and Jinsey Riley with his first TD of the season. Tigers back on top.
They're controlling the line of scrimmage, running the ball. The defense has to pay attention to the threat of the run. What do? They fake it like they're going to run the ball right up the middle. Linebackers come in. Oh, snuck the tight end behind you. Great job locating the football by Jinsey Riley for the touchdown.
Already a graduate of Jackson State University is Jinsey Riley. You see Jacoby and Morgan now 3 touchdowns through the air for Morgan.
The booth may be trying to review this to make sure if it was a catch. It's not the traditional catch. It looked like Riley's feet might have been slipping from underneath him.
Well, I think that's a catch. He secures the football, gets his hands underneath it.
Yep, ball does not move. That's a catch.
Beza, an Alabama native, and kicks it through for the extra point. So TC Taylor's Tigers back on top here in this SWAC showdown. Whoa. The thought about the double pass as Tenario Davenport thought about as Zaquan Patterson comes in to help make the tackle.
This backward pass, thinking about it, but a good job. So often the running back or the receiver wants to get the pass attempt down the field that they'll force the throw in there, but great discipline by Davenport to tuck it, minimize the damage, and pick up some positive yards.
Here on 2nd and 6. Again, a steady dose of running. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2 after that run from Ahmad Miller. Miller, who had a career high 180 yards in that season opener against Hampton. And a penalty marker on the field. Huddled around where Jackson State is standing.
Some type of personal foul. Seems like the play was blown dead. Sportsmanlike conduct on somebody for Jackson State.
Preston Clippers, Mike having some technical difficulties here. So that backs up Jackson State 15 yards. They go back into their own territory.
Pulled a player.
Oh, yeah.
With the rules there. You're not allowed to touch the other opposing player after the whistle's over with. Pull the player there. That was the center, right?
Yep, Almetrius Smith Jr.
Wow, could be costly.
So that brings up 3rd and 17. The 35-yard line of the Hornets is the line to gain. Play action. And nobody there but white jerseys, and it's intercepted. First turnover of the game, and the INT for Alabama State. A huge play for the Hornets and Tashawn Sims, who's the reigning SWAC Defensive Player of the Week.
You had 2 Hornets that could have come down with this interception. Better communication, and maybe one of them picks it up and is running for some yardage afterwards. But if you're Jackson State, you view that just like a punt. We pinned them down there deep on the 10-yard line. Not the worst thing that could happen if you're Jackson State on that pass attempt.
I was going to remark, Jay, the fact that both of these teams have done a really good job of taking care of the football, and especially for a game of this magnitude. You think about the homecoming environment and the weight of this game in conference.
I just worry about whenever this place gets quiet. It's like the team gets down. It was an interception, but it was just like a punt. But right now, this place is quiet because they're fearing the worst.
And a short run up ahead by Marcus Harris II. Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. Jackson State and Alabama State, who have both scored here, and then things have just kind of slowed down after those 2 scores.
This is getting painful to watch Alabama State attempt to run the football against this stout Jackson State defense. They're as good as advertised.
Not only that, you have amazing receivers in Jalen Jones, Dylan DeJet, Ajay Harrell, among others that you can throw it to. Let's see what Chris Barnett and the offense dials up in the 4th quarter as they'll have the ball. The end of the 3rd comes through 24-20 in favor of the home squad, Jackson State. The Jackson State Tigers, their head coach, T.C. Taylor, joining us now, and the message to your group going into this final quarter.
Oh, man, quit finding ways to beat ourselves. We're putting together a great drive just this last drive in our center. You know, kind of got out of character right there, but we're just finding ways to beat ourselves. We got to be clean, though. We're moving the ball well. Defense came out, gave up that last scoring drive, but came back and responded. You know, we got to get a big stop here. But I like our chances right here in the 4th quarter.
I was going to say, Coach, when you get in this type of game, you know, it's been ebbs and flows back and forth. What's your gut telling you right now is going to have to happen for you all to win? Somebody got to make a big play on one of the phases of the game. Somebody's going to have to step up, whether it's special teams, you know, offense, defense. We're going to need a big play. I would love for it to be the defense. We could really use a turnover right here, get the ball back and go score and go up double digits.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So now 3rd and 6 coming up, and let's see if the Tiger defense can indeed do what their coach asked of him and come up either with a big stop or a turnover. Andrew Body has been perfect with the football this season. No turnovers, no fumbles, and here he's able to lunge and leap for a 1st down.
They just have them bottled up, but they can't bring them down. I mean, this is a great controlled pass rush. Jeremiah Williams will pressure up the middle, but once he gets to the perimeter, that's where he really has the advantage. He's so much faster than linebackers that if you don't have defensive backs with that speed in the vicinity, he's going to hurt you with the run.
Well, Body, we've seen gain greater control and command of this offense today. That's what he's done all season long. Been so efficient, made the right decisions. Here hands it off to Jamari Holtzclaw. Holtzclaw with a good 1st down run and picks up another. So remaining committed to the run, and they've had more success, Jay, coming out of the locker room. Is there anything different that you see up front of what they're doing?
they're trying to attack the perimeters a little bit more. So Body does that with the threat of the RPO, but they're running off tackle. In between the tackles, I think they've realized that's not where they belong, but they're doing really well off tackle.
Interception! What an outstanding play by Quincy Ivory! Smart and prepared football player is what they say. MVP for the unit for the Tigers. And coming up, just as T.C. Taylor asked, for a turnover, the INT for Ivory.
In man on the line of scrimmage, up top of your screen. Not only does he get in the rub of the throw, but tips it to himself in the air to make the interception. I mean, that's an athletic play from your disruptor on defense. The defensive end specializes in the pass rush, but dropping in the coverage as well.
But Jay, check this out. Quincy Ivory, who started off as a quarterback at Mississippi Valley State, then converted over to defense, got better and better from JUCO, and then made his way over to Florida, played primarily special teams, but they knew that he was special, just didn't have a place for him at the time. And Jackson State said, we knew we got a diamond in the rough. We knew that we had somebody special. Quincy Ivory has been that for that Tiger D-line so far this season.
How about Coach T.C. Taylor knowing the pulse of his team? He said he really wished they would get a turnover or something because the defense has played great.
And chasing down Jacoby and Morgan is Denzel Johnson, the linebacker who's been that Swiss Army knife for the defense throughout his career. And just as I said, and I knew as soon as I said Andrew Body, who had been perfect, not turning over the football all season long, no INTs, no fumbles this season. And then a couple of plays later, that announcer jinx hits. And what a hit there from Trey Phillips, who popped the ball loose from Travis Terrell Jr. And Jinsey Riley Jr. coming up and falling on top of it.
See, nice little pop here. One of the things about Terrell, not the biggest running back you're going to see, about 170 pounds. Helmet on the football. Jackson State fortunate they didn't give that ball back to Alabama State.
And this is such an important drive for both teams, because if you're Jackson State, you extend the lead now to a 2-score. If you're Alabama State, you're looking to come up equally with another big stop. They bring everybody, but the getting away is Morgan, and Nate Limpert comes up with it. And a first down. And he hears it from the crowd.
The play call was phenomenal. They were bringing pressure from the linebackers. They were able to get the ball off. All you have to do is get it off, and then you've got blockers in the middle of the field, and the rest is just a great job by Rimbert finding the first down marker. Huge play for JSU.
An All-American from Mississippi Valley State who transferred into the program this season. He's been great. A guy that Coach Taylor always talks about when we chatted up about his team. And the kick there, my goodness. Well, that's one way to do it.
Now, I want to know, should this be a penalty? You tell me. You can leave your feet, but does he kick him?
He does. He does. Travis Terrell Jr. thought he was going to make a leap over, saw he really had nowhere to go, so then he just extends his feet into Trey Phillips.
They'll take a look at that in the future and start making some rules like you can't do that. The leaping is one thing, but I don't know if they're going to allow you to keep leaping and kicking somebody.
Well, martial arts move there from Travis Terrell Jr. Denzel Johnson coming to bring him down. They're going to stop him short of the marker. So 3rd and 1 here for Jackson State. 14th ranked team in all of FCS, and opportunity to control their own destiny in the SWAC East if they're able to walk out of the vet today with a win. Davenport bounces to the outside, tripped up, stays on his feet, and DeAndre Moore has held him just enough And it's going to be 1st and goal. It was close. So Davenport picks up the necessary yardage. So 1st and goal from the Hornets' 8-yard line. Davenport plunging ahead.
The defensive line for Alabama State not able to stop this rushing attack of Jackson State, even when they're backed up in the goal line, where normally it's a little bit tougher to get yardage. And anytime you're inside your own 10 or 15-yard line, JSU just continues to pound and pound away at this defensive front from Alabama State.
Morgan to Dupree for the 2nd time today, and another touchdown for Jackson State. Janaylin Dupree says, "That's on me."
Schematically, great job scheming. Look at this place.
The extra point is up and through. Well, a costly interception, the first INT of the season for Andrew Body. Quincy Ivory collects it, and then Janaylin Dupree finishes it off. The touchdown pass from Jacoby and Morgan, and right now JSU rolling.
Change, and they got back in the top 10, all back to normal in the world of college football in Tuscaloosa, huh?
Well, you know, you think about a great dynasty in Alabama, and you can maybe start to say that here for Jackson State, especially within the SWAC. They got their SWAC championship rings and HBCU national championship rings yesterday. I mean, this is icy, Jay. I mean,
it's gaudy, but it's simple. Just a big old J in the middle. I like that one.
Which one?
The big J.
Okay.
The big J, because it's blue. You know, Jackson State is blue. You know, they're big blue.
Big blue, the I love.
They got a lot of good things happening down here in Jackson, Mississippi. And right now, with an 11-point lead, they think things are really nice.
So Andrew Body is brought down. Quincy Ivory there to make the tackle. The last play he had on defense was that interception. And just an outstanding football player out of Texas. And he has really helped to bolster that defensive front. And moving early. And Jay, you know, one of the things that we've seen from Alabama State that's been kind of uncharacteristic for them in the last few games is the number of penalties they've amassed in this game. They've been one of the fewer teams in the conference that picks up very few penalties. But here today, it's been a different story, as they've now 7 penalties for E-Rob's crew. 7 penalties, 78 yards today for the Hornets.
8 minutes left, but it's almost desperation time because they need to score quickly, because the way Alabama State has not been able to stop the run versus Jackson State. So they're trying to do something to spread them out just so they can spring Andrew Body to have one of those big plays that he's capable of, that he's been breaking for him all season long.
And Body with the dart right there, and the pass complete to Ajay Harrell. And moving. A sense of urgency is what E-Rob told us earlier this week.
you know, trying to scramble a little bit, and that's the difference. You just wonder how good his body when he stands tall and he makes that throw instead of having to buy some time to make the throw.
Again, Asa Gregg to the outside, and Gregg has room along the sideline as he's pushed out of bounds by Jordan Helton. Helton, who got the start over Cam Salas, who was out today. Another look here.
And just a good job. The defensive back takes a poor angle because body traditionally holds on to the ball a little bit longer than most quarterbacks. Good job staying in bounds by Gregg, and just like that, here come the Hornets.
Those chunk plays adding up as body with time, still looking. Again, goes to the left side. Again, the pass complete as KJ Chisholm makes the tackle on the receiver.
One of the few times we've seen Andrew Body have a pocket which he can stand tall in and not have to evacuate and run for his life.
Quickly out to Jalen Jones. They get him in space. They know he's dangerous, and he runs in for the touchdown. The sense of urgency as Alabama State responds, marching down the field, grabs the score, and makes it a one-possession ball game.
And that may be the most disappointing drive on defense of the year for Jackson State. That was bad. Bad tackling, missed assignments. And look, here, this is like almost a give-up. Almost a give-up there just to allow somebody on a bubble screen to go into the end zone without getting touched. Great response by Alabama State, but if you're Jackson State, you have to be disappointed. They scored like that.
Lightning fast, just over 2 minutes, 5 plays, 75 yards. The Hornets march down the field, and they buzz their way back into this one. This has been, Jay, exactly what you would expect to see out of the top 2 teams in HBCU football.
They're battling. You know, they go way back. These are some of the blue bloods of HBCU football. A homecoming environment. At the end of the day, it's coming down to who's going to make a play here late in this contest. Both coaches have to be proud of their team. They made a couple mistakes, but how impressive was that last drive by Alabama State? The sense of urgency. Everybody knew if it was one of those long, drawn-out drives, things were going to look bleak for them, but they responded in a hurry.
Eric Simmons here on the return, goes to the opposite side of the field, stays up past the 30-yard line before he's tackled. Well, great look there at what's good at Jackson State. Ashley Robinson is that guy. He's the dude. I mean, 2-time National AD of the Year, the Vice President of Director of Athletics and Director of Athletics. He's just done an outstanding job. I mean, it's not just the football team having success 3 out of the 4 last years, winning the SWAC championship. It's the basketball team has also had great success as well. The women's basketball team, it's dope.
You know what stood out, you know, as we go around the country, we look like, what's hot? You know, we kind of call ourselves, all right, what are we talking about that's hot? Besides just what you see on the field. And, you know, what stood out was like, Ashley Robinson's hot. I mean, how, you know, you get named Athletic Director of the Year. You know, that's not just HBCU and the coaching hire, T.C. Taylor and all that. He's hot, give him his flowers right now, but right now, he's going to be hot in a different way if this game gets away from him.
Well, his Tigers undefeated in conference play, 4-1 overall in the season, ranked in the FCS poll. A team that mirrors them equally in record on the other side. And now an important 3rd down coming up. Jaleel Lenore makes the tackle. And Jacobian Morgan, who has made play after play, 4 touchdowns in this one as an Alabama State player shaken up a little bit.
How about this? First time we've seen Jackson State run consecutive running plays and not pick up 2 or 3 yards on either one of the carries. Huge play here.
70% on 3rd down this afternoon in that soft spot. Jameel Gardner Jr. drops the football. Fumble coming up with it is Alabama State. Still on his feet and going, Zaquan Patterson.
Oh, my.
And oh, my, how things have shifted. swing the balance over to Alabama State. Advantage Hornets.
Wow.
Costly turnover there from Jameel Gardner Jr., who had the first down. That extra effort, Jaleel Lenore pops it loose.
Yeah, I mean, good job after giving up the yardage necessary for the first down. Smart play to punch that football out. And then another good job not going down with that Patterson. Wow, what a turn of events.
And we just saw how effectively Alabama State moved the football on their last drive, rolling to his left, out to Dylan Creech, the fullback, and Creech right at the first down marker sticks, and it's going to be good enough to move the chains. So Creech, senior out of Geneva, Alabama, his first reception of the ball game. You know, Jameel Gardner is going to want that one back, as continually moving downhill are the Hornets. Jamari Holtzclaw on that first down carry, gain of 7.
What's that body language say about Jackson State right now in defense? They're kind of just out there going through the motions a little bit, and we're seeing Alabama State rip off chunks of yardage.
Holtzclaw's trying to flip his way into the end zone and does. Alabama State takes the lead right back. With 4.5+ minutes to go in this one, it was all set up by Jaleel Lenore's punch out of the football, causing the fumble. And then the result, the offense capping off with this run from Jamari Holtzclaw. A stunning turn of events here in Jackson.
Well, you needed the defense to make a play. And Johnny on the spot, great job with the punch out, picking up the return yards, and then they've got momentum on their side as a somersault going into the end zone, 34-31.
Weeks ago, when on the road at Southern, and understood that his team knew how to respond and block out the noise. They played in a homecoming game last weekend, their very own. And so he said, we're molded for this. This is an opportunity for them and an opportunity for Jackson State here as Eric Simmons with the return out past near the 34-35 yard line, but his group felt ready and prepared. And we said, well, what's the difference with this year's group? We're trusting each other, he said. That we're playing together as one. And on those last 2 drives, Jay, I mean, under a minute, couple plays, short field, they take advantage. And prior to that, Body and the Hornets offense moved down the field equally as effective.
And they've got an offense. You know, we've always said, what would Alabama State look like if they had an offense? This year, they've got an offense. They can score some points. But unfortunate for Jackson State, this Alabama State defense, which has been suspect today, looked their best on the previous series.
They hand it off to Ahmad Miller, and Miller, who picks up just about 8 yards per carry, stays true to that, and gains even more. A pickup of 14 and a first down.
This story has so many endings to it. It's a saga in this game here. You almost feel like Jackson State's going to have to move the ball methodically down there, try to get in the end zone. They don't want to go for the special teams with the field goal attempt. That's been their weakness. And they've got a quarterback in Morgan, preseason conference player of the year. This is where you go out there and you make your stripes.
Well, he felt the pressure right there up front, and Morgan throws it away.
And that's what's kind of, 1st and 10, you're controlling the line of scrimmage, you're throwing the football. Now you're 2nd and 10. That says you have to throw it again, but your offensive line has done so well running the football. I don't know why they abandoned the run on first down when they've had success.
Remember, they tried to do it twice and weren't able to get anywhere. But here they have success again on the legs of Ahmad Miller.
And Alabama State just cannot stop them running the football up the middle. Good hard running by Ahmad Miller. As Jackson State On we go.
Miller again, as he's brought down by a swarm of Hornets. So taking their time, milking the clock here, trying to put together a drive down the field that could potentially tie the game with a field goal or win it. Both teams have all 3 timeouts to work with. And TC Taylor is not pleased about something.
Sellout run blitz coming.
Dupree has it. And great tackle there made by DeAndre Morris to make sure Dupree didn't go any further.
Now you have to start being a little bit more aggressive if you're Alabama State defensive coordinator Billy Gresham. They've gotten that field goal range there. They're running the ball on. You need to bring down a safety to help stop the run. Those 2 safeties you see high on the 20-yard line, they're not doing you any good in the run game. You need to bring somebody down.
They run it again. That's Travis Terrell Jr. And he's going to be stopped, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute timeout. So 2nd and 7 coming up on the other side, and the Tigers will talk it over. The defense of Alabama State will catch their breath, and the final 2 minutes coming up in the SWAC showdown when we return. All stated it was Quincy Ivory, the concentration there from the D lineman, who hauled in the interception, the first of the season for the Hornets. That set them up in that 3rd quarter to take the lead momentarily as their offense scored off of it. His numbers today, 8 solo tackles, 12 in total, along with a half a sack. So JSU was up 24-20 at that point. Now the tables have turned here in this 4th quarter, 2 minutes remaining, 34-31 Alabama State. The handoff to Travis Terrell Jr. and tripped up, nowhere to go. May have got tangled up. And now 3rd and 7, and what do you call here? I mean, Dupree has been a guy. Rimbert, do you go back to Jamil Gardner, who had that fumble?
You actually, if they give you a too high look, you run the football because you're in field goal range. You need positive yardage. You can't jeopardize the incomplete pass or the sack. So I think they would play this kind of close to the vest a little bit in a traditional team, but the kicking game has been a problem for Jackson State.
Well, it was 17-13 at the half, and then this second half has belonged more so to Alabama State. They've outscored Jackson State 21-14. It was a back and forth 3rd quarter, and here in this 4th quarter, a couple of TDs put up by the Hornets. That was an important turnover there that set up this Jamari Holtzclaw touchdown run to give Alabama State the lead here late in this ball game.
And what you saw in the 4th quarter, if you turn over the football against good football teams, they're going to make you pay. And both offenses made the other team pay with the turnovers. But right now, huge play tip, take it over.
3rd and 7. Ball on the Alabama State 27-yard line. Morgan takes it himself, tries to will himself to the first down marker. They're going to say he's right there, and it's going to be good enough to pick up the first down. Remember, the clock stops momentarily while the chain gang moves, and it's spotted now. And time ticking off. Again, Jackson State has a couple of timeouts. Tigers, who have been perfect from the red zone today, they run it to the left side, and not much room to run for the ball carrier, Terrell Jr. And so they're going to have to spend a timeout as Jackson State has one remaining, and DeAndre Towns Blue, one of the O-linemen, comes limping off. An all-SWAC selection. Preseason HBCU All-American. Boy, you've talked about just the job that Manny Ramirez, who's right there in our near shot, has done with this offensive line, the way that they have protected here today. And there are some challenges here in the stadium as the Mike's ref has not been working for most of this second half, and I think he's trying to get the play clock, or rather game clock, adjusted.
I think with the player having to leave, did Jackson State call a timeout, or injured player, you're trailing 10-second runoff? So I thought he might have said move the clock to 44 seconds, but we're really at a bind because we can't hear what they're saying. But we definitely saw number 74, Towns Blue, have to go off the field. I did not see Jackson State signal timeout. And now we're seeing it play out like it was an actual timeout. So if that's the case, then you don't have the runoff, and Jackson State's down to one timeout now.
You see the numbers here for Jacoby and Morgan. 4 passing TDs. 173 yards through the air on 2nd and 8. Morgan going for the end zone. Has a man into the hands of Nate Bimber. 5th passing TD. And that one's so important because it puts Jackson State back on top. And listen to this crowd erupt here in the vet on homecoming. Jackson State 5 for 5 in the red zone. That extra point means Alabama State has to go back and score a touchdown, but some extracurricular activity after the PAT as one of the Jackson State players pushed down an Alabama State player. Jensey Riley is the injured player down on the field. And a lot to unpack here for these final 50 seconds.
This penalty is against Jackson State, as you kind of alluded to, in a battle of field position with 50 seconds and 3 timeouts and a dangerous quarterback.
So that is critical, Jay. And look after the play. You see a couple of players.
The kicker comes over and pushes. The kicker, that the holder came over and made the push. Let's go back to this touchdown throw by Morgan. Just sticks it right down the seam in the crease. You see number 3. See, you have to do a better job of rerouting the wide receiver there. Remember, untouched, never rerouted. One high safety look to put a lot of pressure on the safety to get over. By the time the free safety is able to get there, it's a touchdown.
Well, that penalty that we saw after the PAT, though, Jay, now enforced on the kickoff. So Jackson State will boot it from the 20, which can set up a very good return or at least field position for Alabama State. And we saw the Hornets already have a drive with 51 seconds.
Yeah, and they're going to have great field position. And the key is you have to kick this ball inbounds in the middle of the field. So if you're Alabama State, set up your middle return right away so you don't take a lot of time. And if you're Jackson State, make sure you don't kick that ball out of bounds.
And perhaps that's what Javancy Jones, the special teams coordinator for the Tigers, wants to talk about in this timeout, just to remind his unit of what has to happen and how they need to execute.
You want to have, your best kickoff coverage. You want to try and pin it, but you can't afford to try and pin them on the sideline and surround that area like you would do if you had the end zone as your backdrop. So I think you're seeing TC saying, hey, we got to kick it down the middle and just go tackle them. Alabama State, what do? You tell your guys, do not let this kickoff hit the ground. Catch it with a running start and go straight ahead, full speed, because you want to save clock and you want to have that good field position.
Well, T.C. Taylor said this homecoming game takes on a different level of importance. Two of the two best teams in HBCU. Remember, Alabama State beat them on their homecoming back in 2023. And this rivalry has brewed. And he said we wouldn't have it any other way. So it's going to come down to this final drive here from Alabama State.
Good kick. Great kick.
There inside his own 10. Jeremiah Hickson with the return out near the 28 or 29-yard line.
What a kick.
And so that's going to be the length of the field that they're going to have to drive. So that timeout worked. The message delivered. T.C. Taylor getting the crowd hyped for the final 44 seconds. Defining moment for Andrew Body.
He's got 3 timeouts at his disposal. The offensive line needs to do their best pass protection of the day. That's been spotty at times. And we know he's also a dangerous runner that can take it the distance from anywhere on the football field.
He's 5 for 5 since that INT for 86 yards. He looks to put it through the air. Another completion right there. And it's to Jamari Holtzclaw. And Holtzclaw past that 40-yard line.
Clock it. Get up there and clock it. Don't let these seconds tick. Clock it. See, now you're letting the clock tick. That's 4 or 5 seconds that you did not have to let tick off at least. You should have spiked the football.
Body looking down the field, has another man open. And a timeout. They've got 3 to work with. Ajay Harrell with the reception. And Alabama State's going to use their first timeout. 7 for 7 since that INTJ for Andrew Body. And if there's anybody who you want to put it in the hands of, it's him.
Andrew Body.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the best players in FCS football, making a name for himself this season. Has had electrifying performances. Still needs that fantastic finish. And they got down there in a hurry.
Well, they talk about the leader that he is. Yes, you know him as that great playmaker, his dual threat ability. But the way that he brings a confidence to the field permeates through this team. And the winner of this one claims control of the SWAC East.
Don't have to go in the end zone. Want to get about a 15, 16-yard conversion right now.
He's got plenty of time and overthrows his man, Asa Gregg. 2nd down and 10 and 14.2 seconds left.
And you need this catch right here. I mean, he was there. Just missed him, couldn't find a good throwing lane. And you have to get at least 15, 16 yards just so the threat of going to the end zone is there on the play that's following this.
When you were in these situations with your receivers. What did you love to go to here?
Something I could stick. I could get back on time, a 5-yard drop, and let it fly right away, put it on them. That way, even if there was going to be contact from the defensive back, it was enough first down yards to stop the clock so we can reset. Ball's got to be gone, 1,003. It's got to be gone.
Goes to the outside, tall again, hauled in by Greg, the 6'1 receiver.
You got 2 plays now to win the game. And just by taking that extra time and scrambling around a little bit, would you rather have that scramble around for that, or would you rather have 9 seconds, 10 seconds on the clock compared to the 6.5? Go back to that spike. When they didn't spike the ball, they let 7 seconds run off. When you're in the trail position, your most valuable resource is your time. Time on the clock.
So realistically, Jay, the ball is at the 22-yard line. What do you have time for here?
You can open your playbook. You're going to get 2 plays in. If it's a completion at the 5-6-yard line, you call a timeout because they do have that timeout, which is the key. And, first down, they're going to spike it depending on what it is. So the playbook is there, but Body doesn't throw on time. That's not him. So for him to have his explosive plays take about 4.5, 5 seconds, that's risky. So you're asking me, put me in a bind, move the pocket, give him that run pass out. You just want to get this ball inside the 10 for one more play.
Here we go, out of the timeout. Ball on the Tiger, 22. 6.5 seconds left.
Get rid of it.
Body's got to let it go. He's got a man. Got a launch. Timeout. They got to take a timeout. Or is it over? Let's see.
2 things. One, he was down for a first down. You have to stop the clock for that little bit. And they have a timeout. They're going to get a play.
They're going to put time back on the clock, we believe. Jamari Holtzclaw with the reception.
Was the clock ticking? First down, crowd doesn't know it. First down, clock automatically stops so they can set the chains. And then if you got a timeout, you can stop it. You can call that timeout.
All right, here. A lot of time. This is so close. Complete. He's down. Ooh.
He's down. Well, the rule is you can't spike it with .2, less than .2, right? However, you call timeout.
Well, how fitting a game of this magnitude comes down to this call right here.
And we're not going to be able to hear it.
And we're not going to be able to
see
hear
the motion. 1 second.
And Alabama State's going to spin their final timeout, and they've got one more play to try to win it.
Jackson State bring everybody on the line of scrimmage. Everybody. Force Andrew Body to throw that football. You have to. Don't let him scramble around. You bring 7 guys on the line of scrimmage and go after the quarterback.
Tense moments inside the vet. We said it was going to be a slugfest, right, Jay?
Woo, down to the last half a second, 1 second, wow.
The 14th ranked team in the country on the ropes. Top 2 teams in the SWAC trying to get pole position in the East Division.
Alabama State has not been able to run the ball effectively. You're going to have to do something with Andrew Body. They run up the middle. They have not had success doing that all day.
On the 2-yard line. Here it is. Body splits it over. Jackson State holds on. They survive the storm in a homecoming thriller. The Tigers dig deep, protect their house, and keep their SWAC East dreams alive. What a finish in Jackson.